You would think that a rapper beefing with the rapper that they're signed to is bad for business, right? Well, in the case of Freddie Gibbs, this is exactly what happened. But did it hurt his career, or did it fuel him to excel to even greater heights? Freddie Gibbs used to be signed to CTE World, the record label of Young Jeezy, now known simply as Jeezy.
You know what it is, nigga? You nigga young, we in the shot town, about to go chain my nigga Freddie Gibbs up, nigga. The whole film came through, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We in and out, get back to the city, finish what we doing, nigga. But y'all wrong with us, nigga. You know what it is.
However, that business relationship turned sour and led to a several years long feud.
Fuck Jeezy. Fuck Jeezy. Fuck Jeezy.
I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
Frederick Jamel Tipton, aka Freddie Gibbs, is from Gary, Indiana, the birthplace of cultural icon Michael Jackson and his many siblings. He was signed to Interscope Records in 2006 after releasing the mixtapes Full Metal Jacket 1 and 2, but wound up being dropped from the label and went back to releasing mixtapes before signing to Jeezy's label Corporate Thugs Entertainment World, aka CTE World, in 2011, on which he released the EP Lord Giveth, Lord Taketh Away. J. Wayne Jenkins, aka Jeezy, was born in North Carolina, then moved to Georgia as a child and released his independent debut album Thuggin' Under the Influence in 2001, then his second album, Come Shop With Me, in 2003, both on his independent label CTE World. In 2004, he signed to Bad Boy Entertainment with the group Boys in the Hood, and they released their self-titled album in June 2005. Jeezy signed to Def Jam as a solo artist and released his major record label debut, Let's Get It, Thug Motivation 101, in July 2005 to critical acclaim, and continued releasing albums such as Thug Motivation 102, The Inspiration, and Thug Motivation 103, The Hustler's Ambition. The two released multiple songs together in the short time Freddie was signed to the label.
He still was moving around doing his thing, but I just don't think that he took it as serious as he could have with Gibbs. It could have definitely been a lot more than what we brought. You know, like we recorded albums, mixtapes, and EPs that never saw the day of light. You know what I mean? Records, real good records. I got them on flash drives. It's a lot of stuff that I still sometimes, like, I'll just listen to it like, man, dang, if this shit would have came out. It never came out.
For example, Freddie was featured on the songs 38 on TM 103 and the songs Run DMC and Do It For You from the mixtape The Real Is Back, while Jeezy was featured on the song Twos and Fuse from Freddie's mixtape Cold Day in Hell. The beef between Freddie and Jeezy goes back to 2012 when Freddie was dropped from the label. In December that year, Freddie had an interview with The Breakfast Club and seemed a bit uncertain about his standing with CTE. Later on that month, he made a tweet stating that he's a free agent. He spoke to The Breakfast Club again and was asked about the situation, in which Freddie stated that it was a mutual thing and that they were still on good terms.
So you was here like a week and a half ago.
Right.
And we was asking you what was your situation with CTE. And you know, we could tell you was trying to keep it PC, which is unusual for Freddie Gibbs.
And CTE, if you don't know, is Young Jeezy's label.
But you've since left CTE.
That fast?
Yeah, correct. I mean, you know, when I was there, I was in the works of things and whatnot. But you know, it was a mutual decision. You know.
When asked by Charlemagne if there would be any diss tracks, Freddie stated that he would not diss anyone as long as he wasn't dissed.
So it won't be no Young Jeezy diss records, nothing like that.
Oh man, I mean, as long as nobody diss me, man, it ain't no diss record. I mean, you know, as long as I ain't disrespected or I don't feel disrespected in no way, then, you know, it's all good.
Well, it's good to hear that, man. It's good to know that you left on good terms and, you know, everything's still cool with y'all.
Clearly that didn't last long, however, as in June 2013, Freddie released his debut album ESGN, which stands for Evil Seeds Grow Naturally, which released on his ESGN record label with Empire Distribution. Freddie mentions Jeezy multiple times throughout the album, starting with the track The Real G Money, which is a reference to the character G Money, who was Nino Brown's right-hand man in the classic film New Jack City. On the first verse, he has the lines, and the label never gave no fucks, telling him the only thing that dropped was these nuts, thinking that I'm playing with niggas cause I don't cater to niggas. In other words, he doesn't care about the label since they didn't put enough effort into him as an artist, so he's making the music he wants to make now that he's off the label. Then on the second verse, Freddie has the lines, "Don't take orders from no nigga, fuck your boss and fuck the world, and I'm good in every hood, don't need no passes or referral." Once again, that would be a reference to Jeezy and his label CTE World. On the next track, Came Up, he has the lines, "Fuck you pussy boys in the industry, like yeah, fuck the records, I'm knee deep in the streets." Which can also be seen as a subliminal shot at Jeezy given the pretty blatant diss on the previous track and Jeezy being in the music industry and a record label exec. Then on the track D.O.A. featuring G-Wiz and Big Kill, Freddie takes a jab at Jeezy with the lines, "Way too often, Jeezy, he wasn't even in my ballpark, swing straight for the fence and drop my nuts down on the plate, I made your favorite rapper want to put a price up on my face." Then on my favorite track from the album, Eastside Moonwalker, Freddie takes yet another shot at Jeezy. On the second verse, he has the lines, "And rest in peace to my motherfucking homeboy, but hold your tears, he ain't that, he just a fuck boy. You might as well be a dead man in my eyes, 223 sucker free when I ride." Later on in the album, we have the closing track, Freddie Soprano, on which he takes some more shots. On the first verse, he has the lines, "I yelled out, Chi-Chi, get that hair on and that yay. Motherfucker, we yelling fuck the world until it's over. I'm only halfway through my movie, ready to war with Sosa." That is another reference to the film Scarface.
Take him out of here. Wait, Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi, get the yayo.
Chi-Chi was a member of Tony Montana's crew, and Sosa was the drug lord who supplied him with coke and wound up being the main antagonist. On the second verse, Freddie takes shots at both LL Cool J and Jim Jones as well, and this is where the beef between Freddie and Jim would officially start. Freddie disses Jeezy again with the lines, "Niggas can't go like Freddie Soprano, that's on the mob. Jeezy wrote me off, he traded the trapping for office jobs. But it's cool, nigga, got my own plate. You can't feed me with your spoon, nigga, get your paper. I'll let your partners play the fool, nigga." Then on the bonus track, Murder Them, featuring G.I., Fleazy, and Big Kill, Freddie ends his verse with the lines, "Before I met that nigga Snow, I was thugging and trained to go." So, like I said, several shots and references to Jeezy throughout the album.
Has he approached you like a man and talked to you about what's going on, or have you pretty much not heard from him?
Yeah. I mean, shit, man. I mean, he definitely ain't approached me like a man and, and sorted out, which could have easily been done. And like I said, I'm a woman from fam, all I need is like I said, just a real nigga conversation, without the Hollywood shit,
Yeah.
And that's all, and it's over with. I don't want people to think I'm about to, base my career around this nigga. I'm about to come out with a song dissing this nigga every day or every month. I could really care less about him. You know what I mean? But at the time when I was making this ESGN album, it was fuck Jeezy every day. So, that's what you got from this album.
A few months later, in December 2013, Freddie put out a tweet implying that he had a diss track coming out about Jeezy. Then in March 2014, Freddie and Madlib released a collaboration album, Pinata, originally titled Cocaine Pinata, and Freddie dissed Jeezy on the track, Real. After the first verse of the song, the beat switches up and Gibbs goes off on Jeezy. He starts off the verbal assault with the lines, "I thought the world was at my feet when I linked up with Snow, but I refused to be his flunky, so we don't kick it no mo. Straight to the facts, nigga, I looked up to you, put that on my mama, signed a deal with you, and never asked you for $1. Cause I was down with CTE, plus I was getting cheese." Snow is a reference to Jeezy, as one of his nicknames is the Snowman. He goes on to diss Jeezy for how he handled the beef of Rick Ross with the lines, "Man, you said you the realest nigga in this motherfucker? Check it. But Ross had you scared to drop a diss record, no nuts, got the whole team looking weak. Guess that's why they ran up on you at the BET LA red carpet. Yeah, I was geeked. You couldn't take security, so we ain't take a seat." That is a reference to the altercation Ross and Jeezy got into at the 2012 BET Hip Hop Awards. Gibbs then goes on to criticize Jeezy for how he handled the beef with Gucci Mane with the lines, Seeing Gucci by himself while we was 30 deep at Magic and you didn't bust a grape was shook from the gate. It make it seem to me the gangsta shit you kick be fake, cause all my enemies, I put them suckers in their place. So take them shades up off your eyes and look me in my fucking face, cause I'm a motherfucking rare breed. The last time you gonna see a bad guy like this again, don't reproduce nothing but evil seeds. The line about evil seeds is a reference to ESGN, the title of his debut album and the record label he formed after leaving Jeezy's label CTE. Then on the track Thuggin', he appears to send another shot at Jeezy. Thuggin' was also released on an EP of the same name back in November 2011. On the first verse, Freddie has the lines, "You phonies ain't gonna throw me in this minstrel show. These labels see how far up in they mouth my dick can go. So go on and choke on this meat, throw my song on repeat." These lines don't specify Jeezy as the target, but given the fact that he was signed to CTE at the time and then wound up leaving it after the initial release of the track, it would seem that this was a hint at his issues with the label. It very well might just be a shot at Interscope, which as I mentioned earlier, he was signed to previously and dropped from as well. Then in November 2015, Freddie released his second solo album, Shadows of a Doubt, on which he also sent a few shots at Jeezy. On the second verse of the intro track, Rear View, Freddie has the lines, "I thought a record contract would get the rent paid. Freddie Kane, world tour, fuck a deal, nigga. And all the niggas jumped off, that was y'all loss. And they forgot who was the boss and covered all costs." That would appear to be a reference to his time signed to CTE World. Then on the track, Forever and a Day, Gibbs makes yet another comparison to Jeezy and Tony Montana with the lines, "Shouts out to the nigga Snow. We was trying to take the world just like Tony and Manolo, but he shot me at the front door. He ain't want to see another nigga happy, that's a no-no." Tony is the main character of Scarface, and Manolo was his best friend who he wound up killing in a coke-fueled rage. After this, Freddie seemed to chill out on the Jeezy shots on wax, but the social media shots continued. In June 2017, Gibbs was interviewed by Desus and Mero, and he asked them why they didn't ask any questions about Jeezy and stated that he would beat Jeezy up.
Why y'all skip over the Jeezy question?
Oh, let's go.
Oh, I saw that shit, nigga. I can read the teleprompt.
You got beef with Jeezy?
Nah, ain't no beef. Ain't no beef.
I was like, T-report. I was about to call homegirl baller alert, like, girl.
Ain't no beef, man. Nah, it ain't no beef. It gotta be beef when it's two, like, you know, real motherfuckers in the equation. When it's one motherfucker, it's just like...
All right. Vice is getting metal detectors. Let's go.
I'll whoop your ass, nigga. Fuck with me. Fuck Jeezy.
Then in June 2020, Bootleg Kev released the first episode of his podcast in which Freddie was the guest. They talked about various things, including how Jeezy had been a motivation to him as a rapper.
Talk about the motivation that fueled you from disbanding from CTE.
Correct.
Because
Young Jeezy, he's my motivation every day.
Meaning what? Why?
Because I look up to Young Jeezy.
He would then go on to say that Jeezy is not musically relevant currently.
Young Jeezy is musically irrelevant. Let's be real, dog. You know what I mean? Be real. Did you listen to his last album? No, you fucking didn't. You know what I mean? I love fam.
I'd like to comment on it.
No, we don't got to
listen. I just took a shot. You asked me a question. I don't want to be here while you.
Legend.
Listen.
A legend.
I will say this.
But right now, you're irrelevant.
You asked me a question.
And what you want to do? You want to fight?
A few months later, on November 19th, Jeezy and Gucci had their versus battle. The day before that, Freddie sent out a tweet criticizing Jeezy for doing a versus with Gucci, despite the fact that Gucci had killed one of Jeezy's associates, albeit in self-defense.
Put that nigga ass in the dirt. I tell you what. Smoking on Pookie tonight. I tell you what. This how we gonna do this. Send some more, I'ma send them the same way. In a box back to you.
Also on the 18th, Jeezy released the track Therapy for My Soul, which was featured on his album Recession 2, which released on the 20th. Throughout the track, Jeezy responds to things that have been going on, like Freddie dissing him, 50 Cent throwing shots at him, and Southwest T from BMF being released from prison. Jeezy responds to Freddie with the lines, When that shit went down with Gibbs, I couldn't trust him. Invested my hard-earned money, tied up my bread, but he gonna try to tell you I'm flawed. That's in his head. It's happening just the way that I said it. Good on your own, and if I'm honest, nothing gangsta about you. Leave this alone. As you can see, this beef was pretty much one-sided, as Jeezy did not do much responding to Gibbs, especially on wax. Now before we continue, I'm going to take a moment out to talk about the Patreon page. I've been making more of an effort to post on there as well and highly encourage you to become a member. Do you want to get a peek at what video is coming next and even recommend topics for me to cover on the channel among other exclusive things? Then head over to the Patreon page to get that and more. Back to Freddie and Jeezy. Freddie seemed to have a change of heart when it comes to Jeezy, as in February 2022, he made a tweet saying that Jeezy is like Tupac to him. This prompted people to reply to the tweet with confusion as to why Freddie would say that after dissing Jeezy for years, or just disagreeing with the comparison itself. This tweet would seemingly mean that they had squashed their beef, as whenever someone is compared to Tupac, it's almost always done as a positive thing. Then in September 2022, Gibbs released the album Soul Sold Separately, on which he makes a reference to Jeezy on the track Rabbit Vision. He has the lines, "Me and Jeezy still ain't spoken years, but I got love for him. Could've talked it out, but I spoke out. I let it get to me. Showed me I could be a fucking boss. Best thing he did for me. I needed the growth. Too immature as shit. I needed to know." So unlike the earlier references to Jeezy, this one was more toned down and pensive. To me, this also answers the question that I posed at the beginning about Freddie being pushed to greater heights due to the beef. I'd say that it played a part, but what do you think? In October 2022, Bootleg Kev released an interview with Gibbs in which they talked about how Gibbs and Jeezy ran into each other at an airport and they shook hands and hugged and exchanged numbers, officially squashing the beef.
But you guys ran into each other at the airport. What happened?
Oh yeah, I seen him at the airport. That's crazy, bro. This world premiere, nigga. But I seen Jeezy at the airport with his wife. I was with my girl and I seen him, we shook hands and hugged and fucking was just like, man, salute. It was just like, damn, it was like a relief for like both of us. I feel like, it was like a hug. We exchanged numbers and we both got on a plane and that was it.
Also that month, Jeezy released the album Snowfall in collaboration with DJ Drama, and he had an interview with Billboard in which he was asked about squashing his beefs, including the one with Freddie. Jeezy would state that he learned from his beef with Nas, how Nas got on the phone with him and was so calm during their beef. If you don't know, Jeezy and Nas were beefing briefly in 2006 when Nas released the Hip Hop Is Dead album. Also in October, Jeezy appeared on the Drink Champs podcast hosted by Nori and DJ EFN, and they spoke about Jeezy squashing the beef as well, with Jeezy chalking it up to a matter of miscommunication.
I learned a lot from that experience, but I do feel like, if you really got an issue with another grown man, when you see him, you're going to feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I was just like, what up? It's like, yeah, because we had some good times. It was the miscommunication. Right. By the way, every situation I ever been in the streets or music, has been a miscommunication or either somebody talking in between people. You know how it go.
This beef isn't one that really had a winner. Actually, if anything, you could say they both won. They both continued putting out music throughout the beef and wound up becoming friendly with one another, so that's a win to me. Considering Jeezy didn't really fire back at Gibbs much on wax and chose to basically ignore it, there's not much to say about who lyrically had the upper hand. It's pretty obvious. What are your thoughts on the beef? Do you think Gibbs was wrong for taking his label frustrations out on Jeezy? Should Jeezy have reached out to Freddie instead of ignoring the situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.